Hey out there, this is Friday evening here in Northern California on January 6th, 2017, and it's about 8:52 in the evening. And I just wanted to talk briefly about the state of affairs, not only in America, but in the world. And a little about, I got a notification from YouTube that at least one of my recent videos didn't upload because they claimed a copyright infringement because I was playing the song If Dirt Were Dollars by Don Henley. Because I can't listen to music while I speak. I mean, to me, that is a flagrant violation of First Amendment rights, okay? And I don't know what to say. I mean, furthermore, I'm not making a penny from my videos, so you can see that, I mean, it's just win-win for Don Henley, isn't it? I mean, for crying out loud, it's free advertising. Yeah, it's a great song, you know. But anyhow, you know, that's neither here nor there. But, you know, it does kind of bug me. My first reaction to something like that is kind of outrage because I feel like I've been silenced. They mute the whole video, I guess. And so it sucks, you know. But what can you do? You know, it's hard to fight these big corporations. And a guy like Alex Jones might be able to over there at InfoWars because he's got the wherewithal, let's say. But a little guy like me, I can't, I can't buck the system. And I know I'm saying stuff the establishment hates. You know, Alex Jones is a big reason, one of the big reasons why I started doing videos. He inspired me. When I saw such a fire coming from this passion that he was conveying, I found it irresistible. And I've been watching the man probably for about, I guess, over 8 years now. And I've really enjoyed watching him. And he's a great human being. And, so I think sometimes people think I'm deriding him, but I mean, the profanity thing, I don't know which videos got blocked out or not, but I talked about the profanity thing a little and how that kind of bugged me, But, it's just, biblically speaking, profanity is not becoming, He's such an intelligent human being with such a vast vocabulary that I know he doesn't need to go that direction. And I just, can't help but wonder what those forces are that's, driving him that way. But, we can imagine if the president talked like that, people would be, outraged probably, a lot of people. There's just some things we should be a little bit more gentle, delicate, in speaking about people in particular. But, we've got to watch the tongue. Now, I'm not condemning anyone because, I mean, everybody has said things they regret later. So, that's not it. It's just that, as a friend, I would say try to choose your words more carefully and read, in James what it talks about taming the tongue, how a man that can do that is perfect. And, all these great virtues about, choosing our words carefully. And, being careful that fresh and bitter water don't come from the same stream, the stream of our mouth, which is the thing stored up in our heart. So we've got to start there and understand that's where the attack begins. It's in our heart. How we feel about our enemy is essential. It's very important to God and our relationship and all that kind of stuff. So we need to go to God to get the right opinion, the right spirit, the right attitude about how to think about your enemy. And so how to, to speak about them. So if you're thinking about them in the right way, and that's what's in your heart, in your mind, then you will speak about them in the proper way too. It's nonetheless powerful without using profanity. It's just that, the profanity kind of shows to me a lack of restraint. Because when there's other words that can be chosen that are less offensive all the way around, which is a good thing. Who wants to offend anybody? I don't want to offend anybody. Nevertheless, I respect the First Amendment as much as anybody ever could. And that to me is an international thing. It's a God. It's a gift from God. It's your rights, your entitlements, free speech come from above. Just like our Constitution. At the end of the day, it says, look, these rights come from God. This is not of man, but certain rights, inalienable rights, come from God, the Creator. So, we've got to understand that and respect that. And but anyhow, just as a friend, I would correct him. And, I know I'm not alone. He's got to have other friends out there that are correcting him. But, having said that, listen, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with Trump. What's going on? They got, I see the way the mainstream media is feeding us this crap. Okay. And it's just absolutely amazing the way that these people are reveling in their deception, their duplicity, and how they're trying to seem so authoritative when really it's such a load of nonsense. I mean, Donald Trump or any of the conservatives or Republicans or just people that, switch sides and said, you know what? He's an egalitarian. I don't give a crap if he's a communist or a capitalist or whether he's a good guy and he's on the side of the regular Joe out there. I'm on his side. Those are the kind of people we're talking about that supported Trump. They're everyday people, everyday American people. Yes, and all over the world. So what? The Russians liked him. They preferred him over Clinton. So what? We like the Russians. We got no beef with these people. This is a new generation of Russians over there. This isn't your Stalin-esque, fascist pigs. Okay, this is a whole nother caliber of people that have taken over there. Okay, so. And Putin is very popular with his own people. And yes, the American soldiers, the troops, military, they respect Putin. These jet pilots, these fighter pilots, they all know each other and they respect each other. They know they're super intellectual. And, these guys don't want war. They're not stupid, but they believe in strength. It's just like the Second Amendment in America. See, it's a beautiful thing, something the poor Chinese people don't have. It's been taken away from them by this communist dictatorship. So anyhow, I really didn't plan on talking a long time, and but I think I could talk a little more. I think I said I started this at about 8:52. But China, I feel so sorry for these people over there. This totalitarian, authoritarian, communist, fascist government that they live under, is really bad. And America's going that direction. I got to tell you, my whole life. We had a coup in 1963 when they assassinated JFK, and the reason because he was going to abolish the Federal Reserve Bank. He was already issuing a competing currency that was due to supplant it in short order. The American people were preferring the silver notes, the silver certificates that Kennedy was issuing. This was to be a sound currency. He was an egalitarian. I don't care if he was a Republican or a Democrat. He was a good guy on the side of the regular Joe, the everyday people of America, and that means around the world. Because when we do good things for the American people, good things happen around the world. And conversely, when we do bad things for the American people, like we've been on this fascist junked for how long? Junket, it's ridiculous. I mean, to me, crony capitalism is every bit as bad as fascism or communism, okay? Every bit. It really is. What do you think's causing the wealth disparity out there? What do you think's causing the ever-growing poverty out there? Okay? It's a no-brainer. It's so obvious. I mean, not only is our currency worth dramatically less than it was 50 years ago, okay, but there's less of it around, okay? The trajectory, the velocity, the flow has been upset because of insecurity, because of fear. This is what happens. This is what is created when you've got madness running the show. And that's what's going on here, is that there is crazy people at the top of this thing running the show. All right? And they're trying to sell us their agenda like it's pragmatic and practical and logical, and if you reject this, you lack common sense. You're one of these climate deniers, you know what I mean? And they won't talk about anything real, though. They don't want to talk about any real issues. They don't want to talk about the chemtrailing that's been going on for a long time. They don't want to talk about disruptive technologies. and suppress clean energy technologies. They don't want to talk about these things. Planned obsolescence. What do we hear about that in the mainstream media? No, it's just a bunch of bull. The New World Order cabal is desperate. And like a cornered rat or any other cornered animal, a possum. I've seen possums, show their teeth and growl a little, but hiss whatever they do. They make a sound though, to let you know they're willing to put up a fight for their life if they feel like they're cornered. And that's how these people are. So they're very dangerous. And that's what's going on here with Trump. This is all a bunch of bull. This idea that the Russians, no mention though about the role that China was playing in Hillary's favor, and the role that Saudi Arabia was playing in Hillary's favor, and the role that Mexico was playing in Hillary Clinton's favor. Okay, outright too. And the conservatives, they didn't mention it, okay? No mention of that. I had digressed. I forgot that was the initial point I was trying to make about that. Is they didn't complain about that. They sucked it up. And and now, in retrospect, maybe we shouldn't have sucked it up. But there's what's wrong? What's wrong with the Russians saying they prefer Trump over? So what? What do you think, the American people are that stupid? We're starting to get smart, okay? It's starting to build and grow. People are becoming aware that we've got to care about the least of men. We've got to adopt these Christian principles. We can't compromise, or we're all hypocrites destined for hell, okay? We're all being dishonest. We're weaklings. We're pathetic cowards if we do that. And that's not the American spirit. The American spirit is to kick ass. And we've got people that need their butts kicked. Don't blame your local politician when the homeless are dying out in the cold. Okay, but tell them to put heat on their, instead of being a starry-eyed sycophant to their higher-up politician, whoever it is. If you got your city council, maybe they're looking up to being supervisor. And then maybe the supervisor is looking up to being mayor. And maybe the mayor is looking up to being, a commissioner, or some other high office, maybe even governor, thinking big. And from there, the sky's the limit. That's how these people are. But then, when they have any contact with these higher up politicians, they're a bunch of suck up, boot licking, brown nosed sycophants. Okay, and that's the problem. Is they need to get real. They need to confront these people and say, look, man, we're tired of it. The police don't want to fucking, excuse my French, they don't want to do these things, okay? They don't want to rouse the homeless during the night. That's persecution. Unless you're telling somebody where they can go stay, okay, and not be kicked out. Not like a poorhouse where, yes, you got shelter overnight, but you can't leave anything here. You can't have a dog. You can't have a gun. Okay, your rights are gone. Okay, that's not living. That's not America. Or your option is you can just go to jail. Just, 3 hots and a cot. And that's what a lot of guys vie for. They say, screw it, man. I got my pride. I got my dignity. Even though, I'm messed up. Yeah, of course, we're all messed up. Look at the world we live in. If you're not a little messed up, you're in major denial, okay? Because you're not admitting what a wreck civilization is at the hands of these evil people, okay? And any of us that go along with it now at this point, you're supposed to say, no. You've got to say no. You got to say, no, we're going to reverse this thing. We want poverty to dry up. We want this wealth disparity to dry up, not by taking from the haves and giving to the have-nots, not by communism, okay, not by socialism, okay, but by simply allowing others to have through sound economic policy, sound money, sound currency, okay, because that's all that supply and demand economic principles are. That's what true capitalism is. The rest is garbage. For communists to blame capitalism, hey, who can blame them? They want to paint it with a broad brush. They say, nah, don't give me your, don't try to split hairs with me on capitalism. Don't tell me supply and demand, free market, and all this crap. They don't want to hear it, okay? They don't want to complicate it. They want to keep it simple. They just want to believe the Robin Hood theory. They want to take the high road. They believe it. If they're passionate about it, they believe that's the ethical path, okay? And you've got to respect that to some degree. So, a good communist, like I've said before, and a good capitalist have a lot in common if they're both willing to be egalitarian. And that's just being a good American, believing in equality. and saying, well, at least let's give it a try. Let's go take it as far as we can. Use it as a means to an end if we can. To where currency is worth so damn much, nobody even cares about money anymore. We're serving each other, do you understand? Free. Wholly free. Not born beholden to anyone. And that is the state we have to understand is coming. And I know I said I intended this tape to be short, but you know something? You know, now that I've gotten involved in this discussion here, I think I'm going to continue as long